It's about that time. The IFPA State Championship is here for both open and women's. Whether you're a first timer playing or you're a returning competitor, I want to share some information with you of what I've learned as a two-time Oklahoma State champion and a one-time Oklahoma State champion. The state championship, in my opinion, is more than just winning. It's truly an opportunity for a lot of personal growth to happen because it is about having the experience. You've earned this moment. You've gotten to this point to where you've played all year long this past year in order to qualify for this. Let's just be real here. Some of you will be able to compete for a state championship, while others of you out there might not have a chance, and that's perfectly okay. Because of that, I would encourage you to not just compete for a trophy, but compete for the experience. Every game can truly have a chance to sharpen your skills because win or lose, there's always something to learn. And in my opinion, it's very beneficial to put yourself in the situation. Now, from a foundational mindset perspective, it helps to view competition as a series of opportunities aimed at just essentially proving your consistency under pressure. And what this really means is that it's not about perfect play. It's about minimizing mistakes throughout the tournament. It's about staying calm. It's about truly shifting your mindset to where you are just focused on the experience, because by doing this, you can alleviate a lot of the pressure that you might feel. Because let's face it, when it comes to state week or just state month, a lot of people get anxious, and I'm sure you guys know exactly who these individuals are in your respective communities, and that's okay. It's just state has just this weird thing that it brings out the anxiety in people. People just tend to overthink this whole process. And another reason just to focus on experience is that the championship and the state championships, they provide an excellent opportunity just to connect with your local community or connect with the community as a whole. You can truly use state as a way to come together, as a way to exchange ideas on the games, gameplay secrets, or just talk shop. Because the reality is that there's something special, in my opinion, about being able to take a day and talk to people and meet people that are fully in the same hobby that you're in. They share the same passion about it. They share similar ideas about it, and it's perfectly fine. If it's even conflicting ideas, it's still similar in the fact that it has to do with pinball. And I think that it's important for everybody to truly embrace that, because it does make this a unique opportunity to celebrate your local community, to celebrate your TDs that are there, the tournament directors. And yeah, that's how I would personally look at it. If you're the type of individual that wants to win, or you believe you have a chance to win a state championship because you want to go to nationals, you want to prove yourself, then we're going to extend this out a little bit more, because you do have to approach this a little bit different way in order to give yourself the best opportunity to have a chance to win. It's very important to get yourself into a position to where you're able to compete. Now, of course, we all want to win, but the bottom line is you're really not going to have a chance to win unless you're fully prepared to compete. Because truly, the preparation, it's your key to success. And at this point, this video, there's only a few days left until the state championship, and it's highly unlikely that you're going to acquire any new skills that just suddenly propels you to the top. But I have to assume that most likely, if you're watching this video, you already have a fundamental understanding of flipper skills. But your execution might need some refinement, because all of us do. Like that's the name of the game right there. So this week, if you are practicing, I would highly recommend to refine the basic fundamentals, because you don't have to do anything extraordinary. All you really have to do is work on fundamentals and reinforce those. And another way that you can get prepared is just by playing different eras of games. Now, the state championship, you usually play an old, mid, and new. So everything's kind of changed to where you have to play the various eras. But you may not have had that big of an opportunity to do that over the course of the year, or you may see that you may have a weakness at one of the eras, or the type of flipper mech or the type of rubber that's being used. I think this week could be used to try to acclimate yourself to it a little bit more, because I think that we tend to neglect this throughout the year. I know for me personally, what has really helped me is playing a lot of classic games in my own basement. Truth be told, I play those a lot more than I do the modern games that are right behind me. And that's just because, one, the games are a little bit faster, but two, I feel like I can work on my flipper skills a little bit more that I need. The unique thing about playing in the type of format that state is you're obviously going to go from era to era. You may play Stern, and then the next instance, you're playing like an old school Gottlieb with the flippers that'll be completely different. Another approach you can take is by researching the game banks if they're available. This can prove to be beneficial, and a lot of tournament directors will publish game lists early on. And I don't think that it's not about just knowing every single rule. It's more about studying key scoring strategies for each machine. And you want to have an idea of what's possible, but you don't want to do everything at once. I truly believe the best thing you can do is focus on preparing for common scenarios. And these common scenarios are how to start your modes, how to start a multi-ball, how to do those basic stacks, where's a multiplier at? Because you don't need to know how to reach every single wizard mode. You don't need to necessarily know how to play every single mode optimally. Because if you're able to put yourself into a point in the game to where you dictate the action in terms of what mode you're selecting or what multi-ball you could set up, that's a common scenario. And that puts you on the right path pretty quickly because you're dictating action there. You're not necessarily reacting to whatever the machine's doing. Now, of course, you do have to react a little bit. You just don't want to turn your whole entire pinball game into nothing but you having a reaction fest to everything that's happening, because guess what? The player that has a plan, the player that is prepared will have a significant advantage. To put a nice bow on top of this, you just need to focus on your most important actions to achieve whatever scoring goal you have or whatever progressional goal that you have in the game. For example, if you know that you need to play 2 modes, you obviously want to pick the 2 modes that you feel like you can actually finish, that you can feel like you can actually make progress on, because that's having a plan. That's knowing what you need to do in order to put yourself in a spot to have a chance to win the game. Because a lot of times the way these formats are, because they're 1v1 or 1 versus 1, heads up, it's about surviving. That's really what it is, because anybody could have an off game, but if you're able to survive and just get a little bit further than your opponent, you got a chance to win. And that brings us to our next portion of this. It's about handling pressure in your one-on-one matches. And this is crucial. And obviously it's easier said than done, but I fully believe if you apply these principles that I'm telling you about, you'll have a chance. This has helped me, because you need to understand nerves, perfectly normal, except it will happen. The vast majority of people in competitive settings experience some form of nerves. The important thing to understand is that nerves are normal, but so are comebacks. Use this as an opportunity to realize the nerves will happen, plan accordingly, plan your actions ahead of time. Be sure and take a breather. Just trust the preparation that you have. I think that's the most important thing, that we have to instinctively trust ourselves. And if you're not prepared, you're put in a position to where you have to try to implement strategies that happen to be outside your comfort level. That's where things could go sideways pretty quick. That's where the nerves could hit pretty quick. Be ready to compete for that day. Focus on the strategies that are within your comfort level to a point, and just adhere to your plan. A lot of times that'll give you the best chance to win. Now, of course, there are different scenarios in which you do need to play risky. That's the important thing to understand, is to differentiate those moments and to understand when that moment is here. Obviously, different players have different skills, and I have to assume you're probably well aware of who you're playing, and you're probably well aware of what their skill level is, and you can adjust your strategies accordingly. Now, if you're playing a top 20 player that happens to be like a young, below 25 years old and just crushes Sterns and everything, yes, you're going to have to change your plan a little bit. You still play within yourself, but you do have to have a certain element of risk, because the harsh reality is their average game will highly likely be better than your above average game. And that's not just you, that's for me too. I've experienced this same thing. I've played, to give an example of this, I played Escher Levkov on a semi-modern game on Congo a couple of years ago during Indus, and I put up a good fight, I thought. I had 1.6 billion, and he still beat me because he scored 1.7. A round before that, I didn't put up as good of a fight, still got over $1 billion, but third place, Keith Elwin, scored $4 billion. So that being said, it's just, you're going to run into that, and that's fine. As long as you're prepared for it, you have your plan, you have your path, try to execute it. And if you feel like you need to take a risk, go ahead, take the risk. Winning requires skill. It requires knowledge. It requires the right mindset. Now, it's not perfect. You could win without it technically, but all things considered, with these traits, without these traits, it's going to be challenging to win. But when you play, consider your options. Determine what type of player you are. Are you the type that can stay in control? Are you the type that can take consistent shots? Are you the type that can handle the ball well in terms of your drop catches, live catches? Are you the type that can see what the game is offering and take advantage of that? Trust your instincts. Don't second guess yourself. You prepared for this moment. You've played all year long. Trust your shot decisions. If you can keep emotions in check, you will definitely give yourself a better chance. Because even if you make a wrong choice, a lot of people will take themselves out of it. They'll stop focusing on the process. And when you stop focusing in that form, it causes your mind to get clouded. You're not going to make optimal decisions. You're not going to make decisions in which it's giving you better value over the long run of the entire game. It could force you to make risky plays that otherwise you wouldn't have done. And then you'll drain out and you'll be like, well, crap, that was really dumb. Why did I do that? And you don't want to be there. Give yourself a chance to win every single ball. Every single ball means something. It leads to the next one, which leads to the next one, which leads to the next one. Every single game matters. So if you're the type that you want a chance to win, don't take any balls off, and you'll be just fine. And thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly do appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments, what is your advice to somebody getting prepared for a state tournament or even any tournament in general, because I think that this can definitely apply to tournaments across the board. Other than that, I guess let me know down in the comments how you did also, because I'm curious. Good luck. Have fun this weekend. I'll see you guys on the next one.